guys, we are back on our budget 5.7 Hemi build here for our classic Mopars, and I've come across some things here in the recent times and events and stuff that's happened. You know, I got the block painted up and it looks really nice actually. Just taped it off and used the head gasket to hold the tape on and just brushed on some PR15, and I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's no professional job, so we're not, but it looks really good. A lot of this is going to get covered up anyway, especially this when the intake manifold goes on. We just wanted that classic Hemi vibe whenever we pop the hood or pull the hood off, so to speak. I managed to get the MDS solenoids out and get these little plastic plugs to take their place. And what you're going to find is when you go to take these out, I saved one here, this top piece will come off first. And there are two pieces, and this stays in the block. What you need to do once this is in the block is take a tap and drill down in this and just with this vice grip, and they'll pop right out with a little force. This is the variable valve timing solenoid located here. It's been removed because we're not going to be using the variable valve timing with carburetors. Instead, we ordered this on eBay from Stank Motorsports, and it's just basically a plug that plugs this hole going into the variable valve timing. So we're that far along so far. The phase that we're at now, I'm going to tell you something that I found. And this is what you need to be careful of when buying a used engine. I got this little inspection camera on Amazon. I think it was 18 bucks. But instead of having the big fancy Snap one $100 or even the AutoZone $50 one, this just connects to your phone with a little micro USB if you've got an Android. And you can, I used it to go through the cam port there and check all the bearings. The bearings look good. However, I did catch something that I did not notice. When I put the camera in, I noticed there are two more lifters in that valley that need to have a magnet in there and removed. They must have fallen in there at some point when the head was off, or, you know, but we need to get those out of there with a little magnet. But that's something you need to be careful of when buying a used engine. You know, that could have been easily overlooked. The cam could have went in there, the head went on, and you'd gone about your day until, you know, you started up and started knocking like a cabin screen door. So we'll have to get those removed. Get a hold of it. We'll see if we can get this boy out of there. Alright, lifter extract, mission accomplished. Finally got both of those guys out of there. Seems like the only one that I'm missing is a failed one, which I would imagine so, since they did take the head off and try to make an attempt at fixing this car. But that is something you guys are going to have to watch for on used engines. Of course, I'm sure you all know that, but since the 5.7 Hemi does not have the typical valley pan that you would have in small block Chevy, small block Mopars, what have you, big blocks, it's hard to figure out what's going on inside. So you got to get one of those little inspection cameras, like say 18 bucks, Amazon, nothing. Is it stealing my credit card information? Probably so, but at least, you know, that didn't steal all the credit card information that we're putting in here. So now we get into the meat and potatoes of the whole build. To save a bunch of money, this is going to be your best bet. Now you can get comp cams or whatever, $500-600 bucks, the stage 1, no springs required, what have you. This is a better option. This is an actual Mopar 392 camshaft. I get it. Okay, what about valve springs? I got these 6.4 Hemi with retainers, had 20 miles. They're takeoffs from a brand new Challenger from Petty's Garage on eBay. Come with retainers and shims. They're brand new springs, 20 miles on the car. So that mixed with that It was $280 for the cam. It was $150 for the valve springs. We're way under any performance cam you can get aftermarket, and this is factory. All right, now let's get this thing unboxed. See what we've got the rest of this. Get this out of the way. We don't need the box. Kind of a cool box though. It's like Christmas. There we go. Brand new 6.4 liter camshaft. Now, when you go to buy this camshaft, you need to look for a, let's say a 2015, 2016 Challenger 392, and it needs to be a stick shift. The reason it needs to be a stick shift is because stick shifts do not have MDS, the multi-displacement, these things. The cam killers for Hemi. So when you buy these 20, as long as it's a 392 with a stick shift or non-MDS, you're good shape. I can link that part number in the description, listed on my website as well. I've got a website up now. I'll link that in the description as well. So let's get this thing lubed up and we'll get it in the block. If you've never installed a camshaft before, put the same motor grease that I put on the main bearings on the cam, just like toothpaste, and I'm going to go through and rub all that liberally around all of the lobes. Make sure it's all lubricated up. Don't be afraid to use a little extra on each one of these, because as those pass through the cam bearings, they're probably going to wipe off. So make sure that you add some to each one of those as well, just as much as you did the rest. So we'll grease it up and we'll move on. Got this thing greased up. Lots greased up. If you're worried about getting your hands dirty, we're past that. Don't get shop rags yet. You're way past getting your hands dirty. So now just ease it in like we did when we eased it out. Stop, take a break every now and then. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay. Or just right on through. Just gotta feel for it. It's like dancing. but I can't dance. Somebody over there in the comments is probably asking, what about the lifters? Are you going to put them in? Yes. We'll get to them. Calm down. You can do it with, you can put a cam in with the lifters in, but it's a little hard. They keep wanting to drop down on you. So we'll get to them in just a little bit. Uh-oh. Somebody helped this poor man. He didn't even need a cam bolt. How about that? Not too shabby. Needs a little massaging in, but it's one camshaft installed. 392 cam in a 5.7 Hemi. Moving on to the lifters now. The lifters that I purchased were from AMS Racing. They are the upgraded version of the Hellcat lifter, their home little recipe. And just comparing them, here's the original Hemi lifter. And here is the AMS lifter. It looks like they've got a little oiling hole here so that these rollers can get oiled a little better. And these things, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but they spin awesome. These here, not so much, kind of slow and heavy. It's like these things went to the gym, shaved a few pounds, they're eating better. This is what everybody's New Year's resolution basically should result in, you know? So anyways, we're going to put these in. 727 paint here. I cleaned it out. Had some little dirt in it and stuff. Cleaned it out with some brake cleaner. I'm going to soak these in some 520 motor oil, full synthetic, which is what we're going to run in this. It's what the manufacturer calls for in a 5.7, so that's what we're going to run in our little engine. Nice about these lifters is they do come pre-lubed and everything in their own individually wrapped package. Each have their own new bolt. Comes with new guides. It was like 200 bucks for these. You can't beat that. So let's get this oil in, let them soak, and then we'll come back another day, put these bad boys in as well. What I've got here is I got this on the shelf. AutoZone was clearancing it out. It was like $2 a quart. 520 full synthetic. So we'll take this and make sure these are, put them to bed. Tuck them in for the night. Oh yeah. They just look faster like that. I mean, come on. Already looking fast. I couldn't think of a better lifter soak pan than a 727 transmission pan. You know? It's like it was meant to be. Look how perfect they fit in there. You little devils. Oh, I'm getting slick. Alright. Let them soak overnight. Maybe a day or so, and we'll be back. Pop them in. One thing I will mention, the reason I went with the 392 camshaft over the Comp Cam Stage 1, this has some better specifications, and I'll put those on the screen now. You can pause it there if you want to compare the two. But for the money, the 392 was much better performance-wise. And then especially if you can get the used springs, or even if you have to buy new springs, just make sure that you get them for the 392, because the 5.7s don't have enough lift. Since these have more lift, I felt a lot more comfortable using the 392 springs. And you can get the 392 springs on RockAuto. I mean, they're fairly cheap. so it's not going to break the bank if you get them from there. But I just happened to stumble on these on eBay. Came with the shims and everything. 150 bucks, sure. And they're factory Mopar. So going back to that, you can get cheap non-MDS lifters, which is what these are, non-MDS lifters. They're not the cheapest thing in the world. The reason being, you don't want to put, you know, Amazon special $50 lifters in your brand new engine, and then you end up with what we've got going on here. These are even factory and they fail. Imagine what the cheap Chinese versions do. So AMS Racing sells these. I can link to their website. These were $250 for the whole set, and they're really nice lifters. So keep that in mind. Don't go cheap on your lifters and valve springs. Don't put cheap valve springs in these either, especially when you go aftermarket cam. You're asking for trouble. You don't need to have your valves and your pistons having a wedding. It's not time for them yet. They won't get along. You'll just end up in a divorce over here. So you've been warned. Don't take this legally, but make sure you get the good stuff when it comes to the lifters and the 5.7 Hemis. That's going to wrap it up for this one. Appreciate you guys. Hang in there. We're going to be getting our cylinder heads back soon. We'll get these lifters in, get the valve springs in, get the cylinder heads mounted, and then we're looking at getting really pretty with this thing. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you like, dislike, what you do, what you think of the camshaft upgrade, everything. I want to hear it all. So tell your friends,